Marin. I think I just said it wrong again.
Actually, no, you said it correctly.
Okay. I think I asked Cody before I got on the line, and then I was like, I'm going to mess it up again by the time we start this interview.
Good man.
Hey, hang on. I want to go back because you said you were born in Mexico, moved to Texas, now live in Canada. Talk about a clash of cultures there. That's like 3 different.
And then they hear something moving around in the basement.
Yeah, it may be low budget, but it could be the vampire movie of this generation. I mean, what was the last one we really had? Twilight? And I'm not even going to get into that.
Yeah.
That's it. I'm using that to build in to find out if the house is haunted or not.
Right now.
I'm using that to lead into that next. Hello, everybody, and welcome to this week's episode of Everything But the Podcast. And yes, I am back. I'm your host, Tonysaurus Rex. On this episode, Twisted Joker will not be joining me as Twisted Joker is at work right now, so he wasn't able to join me for this very special interview of the two guests that we will be joined by in just a few moments. I just wanted to talk a little bit about the upcoming episode and throw out a few announcements for other episodes that we have. This is a huge weekend for me. I'm recording this on Saturday. It's around 6:38 p.m. I just finished recording this major episode with director Alejandro Montoya Marin and producer Cody Frank of the upcoming film Captive. They're funding this film right now on Kickstarter and is very close to reaching the goal. I think they only have $2,800 or something like that to reach their goal for this to be able to be fully funded. They plan on starting to shoot that film in June and July. This film is headed by the actress Scout Taylor Compton, which you guys should know from the Rob Zombie remakes of Halloween 1 and 2. So she is the main actress that jumped on board for this film, which is pretty cool because this is a relatively low-budget indie horror film relating to vampires. So I'll be talking with Alejandro and Cody all about the film, all about how they got their start in film, and they'll be promoting the film, obviously. They'll be talking about why they decided to go with Kickstarter. They'll be talking about their filming locations, how they got in touch with everybody, and all kinds of really cool stuff. I really had a blast interviewing them. It was a lot of fun. We shared in some laughs in a few parts and other things like that. So I definitely think you guys will still enjoy the episode despite not having Twisted Joker. Twisted Joker will be joining us on the next episode, which is the next announcement. The next episode we will be joined with, oh my goodness, I'm messing up already. Joined by Ming Chen and Mike Zapcic, which you guys should know from the AMC hit horror. Oh my goodness, it's not horror. I'm already butchering this episode. You will recognize Ming Chen and Mike Zapcic from AMC's hit show Comic Book Men that aired, I don't remember how many years ago it was now, but it ran for about 7 seasons before it was eventually canceled. In my personal opinion, it should still be going strong today because that show was amazing. It was probably one of the only reality-style shows that I would watch that I actually thoroughly enjoyed. But I'm not going to get too much into that. I wanted to let you guys know that Alejandro Montoya Marin, a little bit of his backstory, he was actually on the show called Rebel Without a Crew. It was filmed on the El Rey Network, and famous filmmaker Robert Rodriguez was behind that show. It was basically a film that was made on only $7,000 with no crew in only 14 days. So Alejandro was on that show. He made his film with the $7K, no crew in 14 days. So if that doesn't get you hyped for Alejandro's work and what's coming up with the Captive film, I don't know what will. I mean, $7K, no crew, 14 days. That's a very, very limited time frame to make a film, and also a very limited budget. So he was able to pull it off, which is pretty cool. And yeah, so without further ado, we're going to jump it away into this interview. I really think you guys will enjoy it. Cody Frank also had a background in acting and theater before he jumped on the role as a producer, but he's also acting in the film as well. So we'll hear about how he got his start into the film. And yeah, I definitely think you guys will enjoy it. So without further ado, let's go ahead and jump into this interview. And until next time, I'm doing the outro and the intro right now. Well, I'm going to do it anyway. Since you will not hear from me at the end of the episode, I hope you guys enjoy it. I will listen to you. Oh my goodness. You will hear me in the next episode. I will not listen to you. You will be listening to me. I don't know what's happening. I'm having a lot of brain farts doing this intro today, but whatever. I think I'm just a little bit tired. But yeah, without further ado, we're going to jump into this interview. I hope you all enjoy it. All right, and this is Tonysaurus Rex here. I am on the line with director Alejandro Montoya Marin. Is it Marin? I think I just said it wrong again.
Actually, no.
Marin?
You said it correctly.
Okay. I think I asked Cody before I got on the line, and then I was like, I'm going to mess it up again by the time we start this interview.
Good man. I'm doing good, man. Thank you for having us.
And we also have producer Cody Frank, and both of these are working on the upcoming horror film Captive.
Yeah, we sure are. So thanks for having us. This is Cody here. I have an easier name, just Cody Frank.
Yeah.
Really glad to be here.
Yeah, I'm Cody. You actually reached out to me for this interview, which was pretty cool because you're one of the first people who actually reached out to me. Usually, I'm the one trying to hunt for stuff, so it was kind of cool that I was like, for the first time ever, somebody's actually reaching out to me. So it kind of made me feel special for when you did that. So I really appreciate y'all coming on.
Yeah, truthfully, we're running this crowdfunding campaign to raise some of the financing for Captive, the film, and I was looking through podcaster, and I don't want to make you feel any less special, but I will tell you that I sent out a lot of requests for podcasts. So thank you for being one of the people who responded.
Oh, no problem. I'm always checking my Twitter. So typically if I see a DM or something, and it's actually, sometimes I don't answer the DMs because you get those ones that are spam crap. So I ignore those. But for some reason I clicked on yours and I was like, oh, let me talk to them.
Which was your favorite spam Twitter message?
I tend to get a lot of them from cam girl accounts. I don't know why.
Hey, baby. Yeah, want a party?
It's always
here. I'm like, what?
It's always that, or it's always just a simple like hello or hi. Like it just says that, and then you click on the profile, and then you're like, oh, this is what that account is.
Yeah.
And it's usually just like a name like Rachel 54713, like a bunch of numbers after it. Those are usually the dead giveaways.
A serial number.
Yeah, it's just like a whole bunch of numbers. So I know you guys have mainly sourced this for this filming through Kickstarter, which I believe you told me, Cody, ends on Wednesday, I believe.
That's right. So we've only got, I think, 4 days left in the campaign, and then it'll be done.
And I did check in on the Kickstarter briefly, like, because I used that to try and find out some stuff to ask you guys questions and stuff. It seemed like you were getting pretty close to the goals. So with 4 days left, hopefully with a little bit of promotion through the podcast and stuff like that, we can help you hit that goal.
Yeah, we'd appreciate it. That we're actually, as of today, as of Alejandro's people coming through in a big way, we're 90% of the way funded. So we're very, very close. We need less than $3,000 to reach our goal of 30,000. So we're really happy about that.
And we're not saying that we should stop at the goal, because any extra funds that we get is just to make the movie better, like practical effects and like cool music, color.
Yeah, exactly. The more you get, the easier it is to add extra stuff in to make it just that much better, like the extra touches.
Yeah. Exactly. And Alejandro is an absolute master of stretching a budget and making everybody wear multiple hats, but he would sure love it if he didn't have to.
That would be great.
Yeah. I certainly believe that. Now, for anybody who isn't familiar with either of you, why don't you give them a little bit of background into how you got into film? First start with maybe like what drew you into film in general, and then maybe how you got into the scene.
Go right ahead.
Sure. Yeah, okay. So I got involved in this stuff about 4 years ago. I sort of jumped into theater essentially on a whim, where at my job I had people say, oh, you should model. I thought, well, that doesn't really sound like fun, but I'll talk to the local talent agency. And I said, well, I'd really like to try acting. So I took an acting class, and then I got jumping into local theater here. And I along the way I got cast in a couple short films, and I thought, well, this doesn't look so bad. Maybe I could try producing a couple short films. And then that's what I was doing. I made a couple films that went to some film festivals, and then I met Tom, who's my business partner, and not on the call, but we made some shorts together, and then we said, let's jump into a feature and see what we can do. And it was sort of at that time that we met Alejandro, sort of by pure coincidence, and it's been sort of magic ever since.
That's pretty awesome. And Alejandro, what about you? How did you get your start?
I've always been really, really, really intrigued, and I've just been enamored with the whole cinema, like film, going to the movie theater, popcorn, collecting movies, talk about. It's always been a thing for me. So I didn't know that you could become a filmmaker or a director until I was like 12 or 13, and since then I was just like, I had to move from Mexico. I was born in Texas but raised in Mexico, and I moved from Mexico to Canada to study film production, and I've been in Albuquerque ever since I graduated, and this would be my third feature film.
So, hang on. I want to go back because you said you were born in Mexico, moved to Texas, now live in Canada. Talk about a clash of cultures there. That's like 3 different.
I was born in Texas, raised in Mexico.
Yeah, I got it backwards.
Yeah, and then went to Canada to study film, and now I'm in Albuquerque. So yeah, no, it's great because I've struggled every time I moved. Like when I moved to Mexico, like I kind of like had to stand back and figure out how to make points or make jokes and then when I went to Canada again, because it's like it's just different. Even though I went to a very, very big metropolis of mixed cultures like Vancouver, it was still like there was problems landing with the jokes. But no, I love it because there's something really cool about, hey, you know what? Next year I want to take time off and go to Canada, and I got friends there. Or I want to go to Mexico, and I got friends there. It's really cool to visit and make friends anywhere you go. So, yeah, weird story.
That is pretty cool. And a lot of I'm into pro wrestling, and a lot of professional wrestlers in the US and stuff always start out in Canada. So it's kind of cool to talk with someone that's based in that area that's also in a different line of business, like filming and stuff.
Yeah, Vancouver has a huge film industry. Vancouver, Toronto, Montreal, stuff like that. The big cities.
Right. And Cody, you said you got your start actually in theater. So what was it like transitioning from theater into acting in the short films that you were in? Was there any difference to that between theater and film?
Well, for me personally, in theater they always say to you gotta sort of bring up your energy levels and fill a room with your energy and really really be on at a much higher level. And for me, that was always the struggle because I was always kind of a laid back, introverted Southern California guy. So when I got to jump into film, it was great because I found that my natural resting state is pretty close to what I need for film. So it actually was really a relief to not have my directors yelling at me, Cody, act to the back of the theater, act to the back of the theater. It was like, oh great, I could just act to the camera, which is only 3 feet in front of me or less. So honestly, it was a relief to find something that I felt much more at home in.
That's pretty cool. So it was actually easier going to the filming than it was for the theater, to a certain extent, because you were looking at the camera instead of a large crowd of people.
Yeah, much more for me. And then the opposite problem for some of my theater friends, where they're just big people, big energy levels, and they have a hard time toning it down. So it's kind of like you have to find, I think, your fit and what's appropriate for you.
Exactly. So for both of this will go for both of you. Now, the film that you're working on, Captive, is a horror film. Was that your first foray into horror, so to speak? Is this your first horror film, or have you worked on the horror genre in the past?
I have not.
I have not either. I love horror. It's my favorite genre of all time, but we this will be our first feature film as a production company. Obviously Alejandro's will be his third. But actually one of the main reasons we looked into it is, we're starting our film production company, and part of making a successful business is choosing projects that can be commercially viable. And so horror really is that. So in addition to being really my favorite genre, it's also the right place to start for a new company. That was our big impetus for jumping into horror first, before doing comedy or drama or any of the other things that are equally fun and awesome but harder to make money at.
That is really cool. So for both of you, with this being your first in the horror genre, would you take that as a challenge, or do you obviously it's going to be a bit of a challenge because you've worked on other genres before, but is it a major challenge for you, or do you think it'd be easy enough to get the work done?
That sounds like a question for the director.
Yes, either or. I have both of you on the line, so I have to figure out who I'm talking to each time.
It's I think you always have to have a level of uncertainty, so you try harder and you do the research. There's got to be a little element of fear always, and I feel that it's necessary for me to not be to be confident but not cocky, because horror is a very atmospheric and tempoed genre. I usually do comedy, and I've been like kind of dabbled with action comedy as well. So flipping this to horror, even though there's elements of comedy in this movie, I don't want to do something that we've already seen or we've seen too many times. So I feel that it is challenging. I do want to do it because I feel that that's the job of a director. A director needs to tell stories, no matter the genres. And I like it as a challenge. I want to challenge myself to like, all right, I'm going to completely create a whole structure of work that I've never done for another genre, but I'm going to give it my all. And I want to give something cool and trendy and catchy and make the camera a part of a character as well, you know, like as one of the movies, and just make it. Man, I've been rambling. I'm excited.
No, it's awesome. I love it. That's what I love to hear. When you start rambling, it shows your passion.
Like shots.
I think honestly,
your passion for the project.
I think Alejandro's going to do a great job because he's such a good comedy guy, and in a way, comedy's all timing, but that's horror too, right? It's all timing and tension. So he's already mastered that. It's just translating it to a different genre.
Exactly. Now, what would you say is going to help maybe Captive stand out in the horror community? Because there is obviously a lot of horror movies out there over the years. Is there any one thing? Obviously, you're not going to throw any spoilers or anything like that. But is there anything that you think that maybe will draw more people into your movie over, say, another? Because I believe what I saw was that this is a vampire horror movie.
It is. That's correct.
So, what might help draw people into yours over other vampire movies that might come out?
I mean, can I steal this one?
Oh yeah, you take it, Alejandro.
We gotta, dude. First of all, I'm really excited. One, to go to another genre. Two, right. We're gonna give this aesthetic. We're really, like, my director of photography, Ryan Halsey, and I are really working to give this a very, very like old, like 80s film, like shoot it to make it look like film, even though it's not on film, you know, foggy silhouette, like, you know, composition that will maybe mimic a graphic novel. We're really pumped just to make like beautiful imagery that actually has a meaning, not just beautiful for the sake of beautiful. And I don't know. I'm pretty sure Cody's going to share the same feelings with me, but like we're both going to be able to get to work with Scout Taylor, who, you know, who's been in Halloween 1 and 2, and Michael Lovato from Millennium Bugs, which is the movie that I just finished that we were going to screen in Austin until all of this happened. But I get to work with him on a very different role. So I think it's just the fact that we're not in territories that we both know, and I feel that it's going to be reflected. It's going to be a lot of passion, and it's going to be gory and funny. And it's going to be a movie that friends are going to definitely want to watch having a beer, like, in someone's living room. It's going to be dope.
Yeah, and if I could just add on to that, I agree completely. One of the big sells of this is Scout Taylor Compton is like a full-on official Scream Queen. Rob Zombie's Halloween 1 and 2. So she's great. And then, honestly, I think we have a really unique script. I mean, I've watched a lot of vampire movies. I've watched a lot of horror movies, and this one stands out to me personally as a cut above a lot of the run-of-the-mill horrors. So I think it's just by the script alone, it's going to be strong. And then we've got such a strong cast we're putting together. I think that we've got sort of a great special combination that's not been seen yet. So I think we've got something really special on our hands. Now I'm the one rambling.
It's really funny you both beat me to the punch because I was going to lead into Scout Taylor Compton next. You both beat me to the punch. But I can still throw one out there. How did she get involved with the project?
Do it up.
Yeah. So So we're working with a casting director. Her name's Cambria Hankin, and she's cast a lot of stuff. The funnest one that you would know that she worked on was she was involved with some of the casting of Sharknado in the Sharknado franchise.
Yes. No.
And she has connections with all these various actors, actresses, agencies, and she's like, well, let's see if we can get her. Like, what do you think of Scout Taylor Compton? We're like, really? Is that's an option for us, for two indie filmmakers? And she was like, yeah, just let's talk to the agent. And so we did. And Scout, that's actually another reason we think it's going to be a good project, is Scout read the script and she liked the script so much that she wanted to be in it. And that's awesome. Really how that happened.
Yeah, when the actors or actresses, in Scout's case, read the script and then they're actually like it, then you know you're onto something for sure. Now, I did notice that you'll be shooting, I believe it said in June and July, in New Mexico. What made you decide to shoot in New Mexico? Like, what made you decide on New Mexico for your location for shooting?
Well, for us, this film actually was going to take place in a little tiny town in southwestern New Mexico. And the reason it was going to take place there is because my parents own this 19th century, I don't want to say rundown, but lived in 6,000 square foot mansion. And it's perfect for a horror film. It honestly feels like kind of a funkier version of the mansion in Rose Red. And we were going to shoot it there. In fact, we picked the script because we wanted a script that matched the location. But then we got there, and Alejandro is so strong in Albuquerque. He actually wanted to move the film to Albuquerque, and I'm going to let him answer as to why he thought that was a good idea and why we thought it was a good idea.
I mean, as if you're in the film industry, you know how Albuquerque is ranked up as one of the best places to produce film because of the tax incentive, the crews, the unions, it's a very film friendly city and state. So I've been doing projects here for 10 years, so I've managed to work with many people in the industry, whether they're just starting or they take a break from a big project, and then you get the location manager from Better Call Saul to help you out to do your music video. Like it's a really cool place to develop projects, especially if you're helping the local economy and the local crew. So I feel that it would be smart in our tactic to get the best job for the movie. You get a great crew, you get a tax rebate that you could use to promote or to whatever. And it's been a state that's been really loyal to me and other filmmakers. So why not?
That's awesome. And actually, I'm going to direct the next question to Alejandro as well. How would you describe your directing style? Because I know that everybody has kind of their own style when it comes to approaching film. How would you describe yours?
Honestly, man, like I don't think I've been working or not working, but I don't have a filmography as big that where I have I like energy, I like funny, I like but it's very weird because a lot of people are like, oh, you remind me of Edgar Wright. And I'm like, yeah, but I like Scorsese more. And that's basically right. What Edgar Wright is, or Sam Raimi and stuff like that. I like very energetic, very, 90s TV influenced me. So I feel that it's got to be something with comedic timing, because I feel that in life, comedy is such an important branch of life. So I feel like that would be it.
Now, for someone like me who doesn't have any background in film whatsoever, one thing I would like to know is when it comes to like independent film over, say, like a big production film where a company owns it, would you say that gives you more creative freedom to approach the project however you want? Like maybe if it was like a big under an actual, like, I don't know, Lionsgate or something like that, they would kind of force you into something, or do you think you're more openly creative when it's independent?
No, I definitely feel that the more money, the more people are involved, the more opinions and backs and forths are going to happen. Obviously, I imagine how micromanaged Rian Johnson was for The Last Jedi. Like it's a breeze for me then, because no, I'm able to put my creative stamp and camera movement and dialogue and pop culture references with Tom and Cody and Travis. That was really cool. But I definitely want to do as much. Like a movie takes so long to do, from pre-production to shoot to post, that is like, if I don't feel like I'm going to be having fun in 6 more months from now, why do it? So this is definitely a project where I'm like, I want to see what we can do just for the challenge, but also because I feel like I want to spend time with this project and perfecting it and making it look cool so other people can enjoy it. So yeah, it's again, can you tell I'm excited?
Yeah, I love it. I mean, I'm getting excited just listening to you, and I'm not even involved with it.
Dude. I want to go gory. I want to go Kill Bill gory. I'm just kidding.
Nice.
No, I'd love it.
Original Texas Chainsaw Massacre gory on you.
Yeah, dude, but with like lighting, like really cool lighting with contrast. Like,
I mean, I don't know if Alejandro's selling himself hard enough. I mean, his shorts and his features, the lighting and the pictures that he makes are just so beautiful that it's not even like one of our people, Steve, he's the line producer, and he says, he doesn't know how Alejandro does it. I mean, he made a film, his latest one, Millennium Bugs, for $55,000, and Steve says it looks like $1 million movie. Like, Alejandro is the master of putting production value up on screen. He's incredible.
Damn.
That's amazing.
I don't know how to come up with that. That's really nice of you. Thank you.
I don't think you can even build yourself up after that. Now, what would you both say would be maybe your favorite part about doing this project, and maybe the most difficult part?
Oh boy.
Oh, yeah, I throw stuff out that's hard. Don't worry. I have a tendency to do that.
Every step of the way is great. Every filming, being on set, improvising, figuring out shots that, oh, damn, there's a wall here. Well, what if we do this and this, and we flip it to 180, and oh, that looks great. Editing, finding the composing, the whole process, man. Like, it's if you like film, it's every part is fun. Even I'll up after the first day,
I'll tell you the producer's headache and the hardest part of the film. It's talking to actors, and not the actors themselves. It's the agents and their lawyers. That is the hardest and most unfun part of all.
That's a good one.
Yeah, I can believe that.
The rest is all fun and pure pleasure. And
now we've done a lot of the background, but we haven't discussed. I don't know how much you can discuss, but are you able to give maybe a brief synopsis for the listeners on what exactly the film will be about?
Yeah, of course. So it's about a group of 20-something town stoners who were never really launched, and they're all friends, and they're trying to decide what to do for the weekend. So they say, hey, I know the leader says, hey, I know there's this house where the owners go away for the weekend. They leave Friday. They're not back till Sunday. Why don't we break in there and have a party? It's a beautiful house. It's full on, basically a mansion. So they do that. They break in, they play games, they get high, have fun, do typical dumb stoner stuff. And then they hear something moving around in the basement. And they eventually find the basement. They go down there and they find this guy chained up. And they let him out and think, oh God, stoners are psychopaths. This just got really, really weird. So I let the guy out. The guy, by the way, is played by me. And then as the story goes on, people start dying. And it's not quite clear what's happening until it's clear exactly what's happening. And by then it's too late. And there's a lot of blood and a lot of death and some humor too.
Nice. That'll actually let me get into something else. You just said you're actually also starring in the film. So how did that come about, from not just producing, but also being able to star in the film as well?
Well, for me, I don't really like Los Angeles. So I live in kind of near the Palm Springs area. And I was driving in there for auditions and classes. And I thought, man, I hate this. I don't like that city. I've made some short films and gone to festivals. Why don't I try to make a feature film and then just star myself? And that way I don't have to do the typical actor crap of auditioning and like waiting tables and desperately getting to an audition and just all that stuff that was so unlikable to me, that this seemed like a way to do it. And I had read about people doing this kind of thing, of course, like the famous Good Will Hunting, or Sylvester Stallone wrote Rocky. And it's like, well, why don't I do that? I mean, why not? So that was really what prompted me to do that. I've always wanted to do the acting thing. And once I learned that I could sort of orchestrate people to make short films, like, well, why not see what I can do?
That's pretty cool. That's actually kind of cool because you're like producing the film and then also acting in it. So it's kind of like you're able to play two different sides of the recording process. You can kind of see it from both ends.
Yeah, it definitely gave me much broader perspective on it.
And what can you tell me? I know earlier we talked a little bit about like special effects and makeup and stuff like that. Can you talk about who you signed on to do that and maybe like what you're looking forward to with that?
Yeah, so Alejandro will have to take what we're trying to do with it, but I'll tell you that there's a local artist here by the name of Ann Bedrick, and she has a daughter by the name of Cy Bedrick. And Cy is out of New York and focuses on trauma effects and supernatural fairy tale type makeup. So when we found Cy and saw their body of work and all that, we just said, "Wow, this is great." So we hired Cy, and she's really the makeup lead on all this. But as to what we're trying to accomplish, that's all Alejandro. I have no idea. I'm excited to see what he cooks up with, so I'm going to let him take that question.
We're still very in the early stages. There are movies that we're trying to, because our movie is low budget, and because when that happens, we need to maximize as much time with the camera and with the actors as possible. But also stylistically wise, I feel like things that worked in the 70s won't work now.
Right.
Excuse me. But we were talking about something like very, very minimal but creepy, kind of like 30 Days of Night for the creatures, and utilizing in-camera tricks to like to implement the old and the new, because I feel like the vampires, it's such an old story that we wanted to do like the old tricks on camera, but kind of like Dracula, the Francis Ford Coppola movie. So I'm pretty pumped about that.
It sounds pretty cool. And yeah, I agree. Like one of my favorite vampire movies of all time is The Lost Boys, which is done in the 80s.
So
I like
cool.
I love a lot of 80s stuff, and they did some pretty cool stuff in that movie. So I look forward to seeing what you can pull off in this one. Yeah, it may be low budget, but it could be the vampire movie of this generation. I mean, what was the last one we really had? Twilight, and I'm not even going to get into that.
Yeah.
That's so like maybe to kind of return vampires back to their roots a little bit, it's going to be pretty cool.
Yeah, we want them to be, they're animals, they're killers, man.
Oh, totally.
Now, when it came to writing the script, does the writer approach you? Like I said, I don't know anything about film, so I don't really know what goes into that process either.
Yeah, so we have kind of a fun story about how we found Travis. When Tom and I started Pollen Path about 1.5 years ago, we knew we wanted to start with short films, and neither of us are really strong writers, so we said, let's option a screenplay. We think we can pick out a good screenplay when we see it, but like I said, we're not writers. So we used a website called staffingscreenwriting.com, which seeks to hook up producers with writers. And so we put out a call for short scripts, like I said, about 1.5 years, 1.5 years, and we received over like 150 of them. And we read through all of them, and
Damn.
yeah, it was a lot of work.
Sure sounds like it.
Oh boy, it was. Thankfully, short scripts are read. They're only about 10 pages long, so they're quick. But one of our favorites was one called Bunker by a guy named Travis, and we liked it so much that we optioned it, and we actually made that movie. And it screened most recently at Grauman's Chinese Theater in LA, which was very cool. And we liked Travis's work so much, we didn't really know he was doing features. But when it came time to look for a horror film, we went back to Staffing Screenwriting and said, hey, we're looking for scripts. These are the parameters. We need something that can be done on a low budget that fits this house that we mentioned earlier, my parents' mansion. And Travis came back to us. First let me mention that we received over 85 scripts, and we read through almost every single one of them. And that took time because, man, a typical feature-length script is somewhere between 90 to 120 pages. That was laborious. But Travis came back to us and he said, hey, I have a horror script. So we read it, and we weren't going to pick it just because we worked with him before, but it turned out to be one of our favorites. In fact, it was our favorite. And when we sent it, we were considering it and one other. And when we sent that around to other people, they're like, "Yeah, Travis's script is great. This is a great script, great horror film." And so we said, "All right, we're going to make this one." And that's really how optioning Captive came about.
Nice. Now, will you be filming whenever you begin production on this? Will this be on a set, or did you actually somehow manage to find like some actually creepy old abandoned house in the middle of New Mexico, in the middle of nowhere to film it? I'm not gonna lie, that would be pretty cool.
That's the goal. We want to do that because we need to utilize the surrounding areas of the yard and streets and bushes and all that.
So it will be kind of like on location then.
The what, sorry?
So it'll basically be on location, like you are actually looking for an actual house that's kind of maybe run down or...
Oh, yeah. No, we have a couple of them that are in Albuquerque that we could probably use.
That's awesome. I'm using that to build in to find out if the house is haunted or not.
Right.
I'm using that to lead into that next.
I hope they're not, though. I don't want to get fucking scared. You know.
Me neither.
I watch. I have a lot of friends on YouTube that are paranormal investigators and stuff like that. So I throw in some paranormal questions for them because I would be like, okay, after you film in this place, if it is haunted, you have to come back on the podcast so we can discuss your experiences while filming in a haunted location.
Oh yeah, if that happens, shit, totally. I'll come in if we have a location that's haunted. I'll totally come back and like, all right, this is the shit I saw.
Yeah,
that's
totally.
Yeah, because that would be it would be amazing stories for you to tell. And what kind of experience would you have? Like, even if you don't know it's haunted, but stuff happens, you're not going to have that experience anywhere else, really. Like on a set, like you go to the place you don't know it's haunted, and then it is. Yeah, it might be scary at first, but it's a once in a lifetime experience as well.
Yeah, unless it's the kind of haunted, like it's haunted in The Conjuring, where everybody ends up dead or.
Okay, yeah, let's go with like simple haunting.
Oh, okay. Well,
there we go.
If it's just like lights flickering, I guess that's okay. That'd be cool.
Maybe a light flickering or a door slamming or something. Yeah, I would never wish anything like demonic or dark on you guys.
Yeah, thanks.
No.
And what would you say? Okay, so the Kickstarter's only got, you said 4 more days, right?
Correct.
So I want to make sure that you have a little bit more time to talk about what made you decide to go with Kickstarter? Because I know there's more than one platform when it comes to like the crowdfunding. I know there's so many out there. I can't think of all of them, but I know there's other ones. What made you decide to go with Kickstarter?
For us, we were torn between Indiegogo and Kickstarter. And with Indiegogo, the difference is that I think you have to reach either you get all the money you raise no matter what, or you have to reach 80% of goal and you still get it. With Kickstarter, it's all or nothing. And
right.
we kind of liked that because one, it adds a little bit of urgency to the campaign. You know, if you know that, oh crap, I raised 15,000 and I still have 15 to go and I'm not going to get it, that really makes you hustle a bit more. But it also seemed a little bit more fair to the people who were contributing, because what if we raised 10,000 and we kept it, but that wasn't enough to make the movie? So it felt like the most responsible thing to our audience and people who are supporting us, friends and family, would be we're only going to ask for your money if we can make the film. That was really what we decided. It just seemed better.
I think that will actually probably help a lot of people listening or whatever draw into you a little bit more, because it shows that you are appreciative of the people that are supporting you by saying, hey, if we don't get it, then we're not just going to keep your money. You're probably get that back, basically.
Yeah, that's it. If we don't make it, and thankfully we're going to make it at this point. We're like $2,800 away now.
You're very, very close. I saw that this morning.
And during the pandemic, that just shows like incredible support from people towards like independent art. It's like we're in one of the weirdest times of our life. Everyone is like penny pinching, and completely understandable because we don't know when we're going to get back to work, and people are still finding time and resources to support our projects. So we're incredibly grateful for, honestly, how supportive people have been.
Yeah, it really is awesome. It does seem like a lot of people are kind of coming together to a certain extent, because it's a situation where a lot of people have to stay at home. But if there's any positive we could see in that, is it gives more time to watch stuff like film and other stuff like that. So it's like a good timing for when it comes to, if you have the extra money in investing, you know that you're going to be able to watch this at some point. Now, hopefully this is all cleared up by that point because you guys want to film in a couple months. So hopefully this goes away quickly and we can get our country back to normal. But
yes,
yeah, definitely. And one of the things I'd like to add is that one of the things we struggled with as soon as this virus started getting more serious was like, do we keep running a Kickstarter? Because, we had some complaints from people that said, it's really inappropriate of you to keep asking for money and doing this, in the midst of this virus, right?
Right.
People are losing their jobs. So really we had to kind of think about it. And we asked Kickstarter if they would let us pause, and they said nope. And at that point we were halfway through and we're like, we're really too far in it just to cancel the thing. So we kind of thought, well, how do we turn this into something that just isn't about us building our own project? And really it came down to the fact that because of the virus is, a lot of people can work from home, but the arts community has just been crushed by this, right? Every film production shut down, caterers shut down, hotels shut down. So now our kind of viewpoint is like, well, how do we reframe this into really a positive thing? And the truth of the matter is that this project is going to probably employ by the end of it over 100 artists and crew and cast and caterers. So over 100 people for a period of about a month. So it's really, I think, going to help the local Albuquerque film economy as soon as things are back to normal. It's really going to be something that helps push things back to normal.
Yeah, because we're going to try to jump into production like immediately. Like I'm going to start like we're going to start locking down the complete. We tend to jump instantly as soon as this is done to pre-pro. So as soon as everything's back to normal, we go into maybe a week, 2 weeks of production, and then immediately to shoot. Sorry, a pre-production and then to shoot.
So basically, it kind of kicks you into overdrive of, all right, let's get this done, because it's going to give people something to look forward to as well. Obviously, That's a main thing with a Kickstarter, is you can kind of build around it, and it kind of helps with promoting it for people to get to know you, which obviously is what this is about, so people can get to know you on a personal level, which will hopefully draw them into it.
Yeah, hopefully.
Super charming.
Yeah.
You've both been charming for sure on this show. I can tell you that. And you've been so passionate about what you're doing that I really think that it's going to draw people in. Because like I said, you sounded so excited about it. I was like, I'm immediately excited now. I forget about everything that's going on in my life and I'm in the moment. That's exactly how you want people to be with your project.
I just want people to like we would get together and like get a 12-pack and watch Army of Darkness, and he would groovy, and then everyone would laugh and cheers, and I just want people to have fun when they watch this movie.
That's awesome. Now, I know that with the Kickstarter, you also there is an option where you can choose to not receive perks, but there are perks as well. So why don't you talk a little bit about the perks and what made you decide to go with the perks that you went with?
Sure. So we've got some fun stuff. Kind of the typical Kickstarter fare: posters, T-shirts, and then all the way up to credits like associate producer credit, special thanks. One of our most popular perks was to be an extra in the film who got killed, and that was for $1,500, and that sold out almost immediately. One of the most interesting perks we have is, if you go to captivethefilm.com, you can watch our introductory video. And it has sort of the first scene storyboarded out. And the artist who did that was a guy named Dennis Lubay. And he's interesting because if you guys are gamers, he was the head artist for Ultima the Ultima series by Richard Garriott, aka Lord British. He also did all the art for Wing Commander, as well as a bunch of tabletop games. I know Alejandro knows this.
Yeah, I remember texting you when I was like, wait, he did Wing Commander?
He did Wing Commander.
That's old school right there.
It's so old school, but it's cool, right? Like, because I think there's a lot of crossover between like 80s retro games and 80s slashers for some reason. I don't know if that's true or not. But he's offering some special perks. Like, we've got for $20, the very first thing you get is a credit card style bottle cap opener that fits in a wallet, and it's got like a vampire on it designed by Dennis. And then the one of the hats has artwork by Dennis. And then the big thing is for $750, you can get a signed limited edition graphic panel by Dennis.
That's pretty badass.
It's cool, right? It's neat because like he's got this huge gaming history, and it was just we felt so like, I don't know if it's too goofy to say, but we really felt blessed to have him join our team.
Dude, he should design the official poster once we have like stills. He's fucking mad talented.
He is mad talented. That's not a bad idea. So
we're just talking about shit we haven't even talked about.
I know. It's turned from a podcast into a business conversation.
Yeah.
We're just shooting the shit, but like for real, dude, like his drawings are so fucking cool. Like you know, have you seen the Wing Commander poster?
I sure have. It's neat. I mean, he's like a master of his craft.
Yeah,
it is. But yeah, so and why we chose him, we were really sure. We looked at a bunch of other film Kickstarters and thought, okay, let's kind of give this a shot. I mean, this is only my very first one I've ever run. I know, Alejandro, you had kind of similar things for Millennium Bugs, didn't you? Or what were some of your perks?
For Millennium Bugs, I did posters, T-shirts. We did one thing because the movie's a Millennium Bugs is a 90s dramedy. We did like once. How do you say that? Where there's only one of its kind.
One of a kind. That's how I say.
I guess so.
Literally one of a kind.
Or one in a million.
Pictures, because we would take like BTS pictures on Polaroids, and then we would explain what we're doing there, and we would give it to people. So for an amount, you would get that. You would get other postcards. We have 4 alternate posters because it's a 90s movie. We did our poster, but then we did 3 homages to 3 big movies with our characters in there. So we did Pulp Fiction, Fight Club, and Clerks.
Oh, that's cool.
Nice.
Yeah, no, it was really cool. It was a good idea by Dan. And yeah, stuff like that. We did like what's it called? Like we would give copies of my short films on Blu-ray. And mind you, I still haven't sent any of these because we just finished Millennium Bugs like a week ago.
Yeah, that kind of stuff takes time to kind of go into production and get sent out.
Yep. We have everything. We haven't done it because we were editing.
Yeah, one of the interesting things about us is we had all this stuff ordered, like the bottle cap openers I mentioned. Well, they were partly manufactured in China, and all the factories are shut down in China right now. Dang. So it's not really clear, like, okay, guys, you're going to have to wait for that one.
Yeah.
So that's
but
okay.
You have a lot of other cool things as well. Like I saw some of your perks with a lot of autographs or the DVD getting signed by the cast when it comes out and stuff. So you still have that stuff.
Yeah, exactly. I'm just a little fixated on the bottle cap opener because I thought it was cool. But you're right. There are other cool things for people.
Well, the bottle cap opener is cool because it's at the lowest perk. Like, it's only, $10 for that? So, like, you're not even having to commit that much. Or was it 20?
20 actually, but still not bad.
That's still affordable. I think $10 is probably the shout-out one. Like
I
said,
exactly.
I kind of glanced over it. I didn't go into, like, huge detail because I didn't have much time, but...
Plus, it's like people how much is the copy of the movie? 50?
Let's see. The digital download of the film is 30, and I think you're right. Like 50 for the DVD copy.
Guys, for $50, you get the DVD copy plus all the other perks, and we already described exactly how the movie's going to look, what it's going to feel, and if you're going to fund in our intentions. Like, it's kind of like you're buying a ticket for an event for later.
Well, hey, if we're turning this into an infomercial, I'm gonna let our listeners know that the DVDs we're sending out are going to be special Kickstarter ones. So we're gonna have stuff on there that's not going to be on the commercial release. So it's going to be it's going to be special, not like oh, I could go to Walmart and pick this up for $10 out of a bargain bin. No, it's going to have like a sign, like a introduction from the cast. Say, hey, thanks for supporting the project, all that stuff. So get this.
I'm not signing it though. I don't do that shit.
No, we would only ask you to sign it. We'd have to pay you to sign it, Alejandro. That's
what?
That's how much your name is worth now.
No, wait a minute. I'm pretty sure I saw somewhere in that perk I was signing it.
I would have done it for free.
I'm pretty sure I saw cast and director was listed on there.
Yeah.
Yeah, this is actually, it's not a big deal because we got about 10 minutes left because you guys have an hour. So it was the perfect time for the infomercial section of it.
Yeah, right. Exactly. If they stuck around for this long, we have to.
Yeah, if they're still listening, they better contribute because they were in for the long haul.
My my goal was we were going to pitch it as, guys, don't be dicks. Just send us some money. But Cody was like, well, I don't know. It might rub people the wrong way.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay. The fact that you said "don't dicks" and "rub people" at the same time, the same sentence, just made
it. Exactly.
Somehow, I don't even know. I don't even have Twisted Joker on this podcast, but somehow every podcast we've done since joining him as co-host has gone to a dirty section at some point in the podcast, and somehow I still just managed to pull it off in this one without even trying.
That's good. I wouldn't want you to be an exception to the rule.
Well, hey, I mean, your Kickstarter was listed as a sexy vampire horror, so yeah.
That's right. That's right. It sure was.
All right, so I think that's about all I have. So if you have any more shout-outs or anything specifically you want to throw, well, first of all, tell people where they can find the Kickstarter. I don't know if it's a specific website or anything like that, but also let them know, Alejandro, I don't know if you have Twitter or social media. Cody, I know you do through the Captive Film, so maybe throw out your social media links and where people can maybe follow the production of the project and stuff like that. I do that a lot too. I jumble over my words all the time.
Okay.
It's cool.
Yeah, sure thing. So the easiest way to learn about the project is go to captivethefilm.com. That just automatically redirects to the Kickstarter page. And after the Kickstarter ends, it'll probably direct to the main film page. And then you can follow us on Twitter. We're Captive the Film 1. And then on Facebook, we're also on there as Captive the Film. And you'll know it because there's like this really striking red background with a silhouette chained up. And that's us. And then I'm sure Alejandro has a ton of social media stuff as well.
Well, Captive the Film, one word, is on Instagram, and then Alejandro Montoya Marin on Instagram. Yeah, follow us, and we're posting the actors that are getting involved, and we have we have people that are on big projects. So yeah, join us, and we'll show you how we do the movie behind the scenes, and keep you informed as soon as it's done, so you can see where you can check it out.
Awesome. And I want to thank you both for joining me on the show. Hopefully, if you want to do it again, maybe after the film is out and after everything, like with the virus and everything, hopefully calms down, you're able to film and all that stuff, maybe you can come on again, and maybe I'll have had a chance to watch it at that point, and we can discuss it in greater detail. I think that would be awesome. A pretty fun episode.
That'd be great. Me too.
All right. So I want to thank you both for coming on Everything But the Podcast. I will talk to you again soon, and I hope you both have an awesome day, and good luck with the remainder of the Kickstarter period.
Thank you so much, man.
And thank you.
Stay safe.
You too.